Have you ever found yourself wanting to self-improve, but you just don't know where to start? Look around you and your friends are indulging in things such as casual sex, alcohol, partying, and just things that you know in your heart you don't want to be a part of. Well, today I'm here to tell you that there is another way, and you don't have to be a product of your environment. And it's quite simple actually, so just hear me out. We must aspire to train like Goku.
I know, I might sound crazy. I might even sound like a madman. You're telling me that the way to escape a life that I don't desire is to train like I am a fictional character? I get it, but hear me out. Goku is the character I chose in this video because he perfectly embodies something that I value, known as the EST model, or the Eat, Sleep, and Train model. So, we'll get into that. Before I get into this model, it's important to know where I'm coming from. In many ways, I was like a lot of you guys, and I still am. Growing up, I was a pretty nerdy kid. I played a lot of video games, I watched a lot of anime, and life was good. And it continued to be good, but then junior year happened, and that's when COVID shut the world down. It basically happened overnight. I was immediately catapulted into as much freedom as I wanted to. I played as much games as I pleased. I didn't really get outside. I spent a lot of time indoors behind a screen, and it got to the point where it was just unhealthy, and I found myself stagnant. Eventually, the seeds of doubt became planted in my heart. I felt as if I wanted more than that next Valorant rank or that next quick and easy paycheck from my current job, and I began to explore what might be beyond those things. Now, this was scary because at the time, none of my friends had taken such a leap. They remained in comfort and they chose to continue with their vices during that time. Ultimately, I took the risk. I stepped outside, I began to go on runs. My mile time was 16 minutes, 17 minutes. Now my mile time is like 6 minutes, just to put it into perspective. And I've been on self-improvement for 3 years, going on 4, and I don't plan on stopping. So now I'll explain to you guys the EST model, or the Eat, Sleep, and Train model. In order to operate at our most optimal frequency, we must maximize the eat, sleep, and training pillars of our lives. These three pillars work together to contribute to a self-actualized individual. In many ways, these three pillars of the self kind of like lead into each other. Your eating will affect your sleeping, which will affect your training. Throughout this video, I've scattered clips of Goku embodying these three pillars perfectly. You know, we see these characters eating well and sleeping well and also training hard. And when you do these three things effectively and when you maintain these pillars in your life, you begin to perform at a higher mental frequency. Even in my life, when any of these three pillars are thrown out of whack, I experience fluctuations in my mood, my decision making, and like my training sessions will be impaired. And when my training sessions are impaired, it's more likely that my sleep will be impaired because sleep is reliant on how much energy you exert, and that's how you get that natural, 10 p.m. sleep time. Since I sleep well because I train hard, my circadian rhythm naturally wakes me up each day at around 6:30 a.m. Like I usually don't need alarms, like I just kind of rise unless my sleep varies. And like it's during those hours where I can like educate myself and teach myself new things and read interesting books. So like those morning hours are actually really crucial for your development because that's like extra little time that you can put into like learning something new. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, the 48 laws of power, the magic of thinking big, like all these self-improvement books. You can just simply train yourself and learn something new and maybe study something or just stretch in the morning. Another common fallacy, eating well does not equal eating less. You just have to eat whole foods that won't give you brain fog. Don't indulge in artificial sugars. Like, of course, you could have something every once in a while, but keep your foods whole and organic, leverage fruit, and just eat things that fuel and service your body. And the advantage to training, especially for a combat sport, is that there are real consequences to violating these pillars. If you don't train adequately, if you don't sleep well, and if you don't eat well, that will directly impact your performance in the ring. And if your performance in the ring suffers, then that also equates to physical bodily harm. So in a way, like being a boxer, being an MMA athlete, doing judo, whatever, those things keep you honest because a logical person will not jeopardize their bodily health because they want to eat 5 donuts in a day. Therefore, by optimizing your body and mind for combat specifically, you'll also have a high performing mind that will benefit you in all areas of life. Like, if you just eat a bunch of apples and bananas and steak and eggs and all this whole food so that you can train at an optimal level, imagine how you'll operate in the real world outside of the gym when it comes to that job interview, when it comes to asking that girl out on a date, when it comes to paying attention in class, when your sleep is optimal, when you work out, when you eat well and meaningful food. It just blossoms you as a human. I understand. You might say, Whole Foods are expensive. I don't know how to cook. You're on YouTube right now, aren't you? You can learn how to cook. You can learn these valuable lessons. And yes, Whole Foods may be more pricey than like processed foods or like fast food. But you know what else is pricey? Medical bills that you're going to have to pay when you're 40 because you're going to have all these ailments because you're going to spend your youth eating like crap and clogging up your arteries, and then you're going to have to pay the price when you're older. So, like, I'd rather pay the price now than pay the price when I'm older and it's hard to reverse the effects. All-nighters add up. Not exercising adds up. Not eating properly adds up. In a lot of cases, you can get away with it when you're youthful, like you may be watching this video when you're 17, 18, 19. You can get away with it. But when you start hitting 24, 25, the habits that people have developed over the last 5 years from 18 to 25 start to show and they start to radiate. It's imperative that we begin to optimize these pillars at a young age so that we can live a life of prosperity and success, and so we can be healthy, and so that we can really give good energy to those who we love and to those who love us. With that being said, this has been the Eat, Sleep, Train model. I hope this video was informative, and there are going to be many more on the channel in the future. Thank you for watching.